Okay, Pauline, one thing I want to mention is that I didn't see this post in the critique board for last week, and I'm a little concerned. I'm just wondering, you've got it. You know what? I didn't give you points with the deduction. You're still well up in the 90s. But if you want to go ahead and post this in the critique board, technically I can give you some points for it. There's going to be considerable deductions for lateness. Plus, you're probably not going to get any responses since that forum is now closed. But it's up to you. I mean, technically you do have a chance to post it. But that's up to you. Like I said, your grade is not suffering at all due to that deficiency right there. Now, speaking of, I do have a couple of comments to make, and I do have a couple of things that I want to bring to your attention in terms of what we have here in this presentation. Now, what you have is absolutely phenomenal. The logo, I think, is great. The mechanics are very, very good. However, I think the year itself could be a little bit larger. I don't think the year should be the same width as the rings. I think the year should be a little larger, which means that once you do enlarge the year just a touch, I'm not talking much at all, but you might have to move the rings down a little bit. But keep everything in the same proximity because the grouping is fantastic. The background fifth element supporting graphics are wonderful. I love the fact that you have a second set, so to speak, of supporting graphics, full opacity right here. That's great. I think that mixed with this will give you a wonderful array of supporting graphics for which to apply to several of your collateral pieces. All right, so contents indicates that you have a lot to do that is not shown in this particular presentation. So, that said, I would expect some deductions here in this presentation based on depth and scope of ideations and processes. I mean, I know they're there. I know you plan on doing them, but they're not here visually. So again, I think I would expect small deductions in that area. And the reason I'm saying that is because this is going to be the last critique based on your informational research and data gathering, concept design, and design development. This week we go right into final presentation. So I'm looking at this saying, is this ready for final presentation? And the answer is no, it's not, because we are missing things like transportation, merchandising, promotion materials, Olympic Village accommodations, et cetera, et cetera. Wonderful plan, though. I mean, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see it. Your setup is good. Things are looking good. Well, I don't really want to talk about presentation right now because we're going to save that for this coming week. But let's move to our final stage of design development, phase 3, and that would be the branding and the placement of branding elements, fifth element items, supporting graphics, etc. The logo is fantastic. We've talked about that. Color palette's fantastic. Just wonderful, wonderful logo. The pictograms are just beautiful. I think that the visual language established by the logo is continued in wonderfully in the pictograms. A couple of areas in the pictograms, a couple of areas of concern. The biathlon, that's a little bit, it's difficult to tell what that is right there. Really difficult to tell. So I would refine biathlon a little bit. I think that's a rifle, right? We need to really indicate that. The other one is, these are wonderful. Speed skating is great. And skeleton, ski jumping, snowboard, ice hockey. These are fantastic. Look at that. She's landing that. That's wonderful. This right here, let me zoom in here because there's a little bit of an issue in an area right here. And it's just this right here, this little bump right here. I would get rid of it because if we take a look at it from a distance, it looks like a mistake. It doesn't have the smooth flowing geometric lines that geometric lines. Oh, I've been talking all day long and I'm a little burnt. Geometric lines that are established in some of the other pictograms. So I would clean that one up a little bit. I love the graphic. It fits. It's very, very, very cohesive with the first screen back graphic. So as I said, in conjunction with that, I think you've got a wonderful array of supporting graphics for which to apply to your collateral materials to reinforce the branding set up by the package itself. Okay, let's take a look at placement. So basically you have media outlets, television. All right, so all you've done here really, basically, Pauline, is place the logo. Okay, and then the same thing is, we've got some images that you're using, but what I need to see, what I would like to see, and this is good though. The website looks good. I'm not real sure if I would impose those background graphics or if I wouldn't just use the whole screen for this portion of the website. Seems like that might be a little confusing, a little convoluted, and a little bit, a little cluttered, so to speak. So in other words, the screen would look basically this close to that. Okay, and then you've got your media outlets mobile. You've got your media outlets magazine. This is this what I would rather see than, I mean, keep this definitely, but what I would like to see is I would like to see a event brochure as opposed to this magazine. Now the magazine does incorporate the Fifth Element items. It does some branding, but not as much or as heavy, as concentrated as you would be able to do in an actual event graphics manual or brochure, as it were. Magazine page looks good, but again, we just have an image with a logo placed. So, you know, we've got some Fifth Element, we've got some branding, but I think you're falling short a little bit here, Pauline. I really do, and I think that once you get these things in place that you have in your table of contents, I think you even admitted that in your contents page indicates all the information intended for this project. I'm still working with PSD files. Okay, so yeah, so self-admittedly, you are a little bit underdeveloped here. So not to worry, though. I know you have a plan, and I can't wait to see it. So as far as I can see, the pages, well, you know what? I don't even want to talk about that yet because I don't want to get into presentation until this week's submission. So that's what I would say. Now, as far as deductions go, I would say just to expect some minor deductions in depth and scope of ideations and processes, simply because the work you're doing is great, but it's just, there's not enough of it. So in other words, there's just not enough placement items. Remember, I talked about this a little bit. Don't forget to take a look at those 4 examples I placed in the announcements area. I know you go up there because I got your response to that displacement map tutorial that I placed up in there. So that's in the messaging, but right next to it is the announcements. So in the announcements, you got those 4 examples of very highly successful Olympic branding packages that were submitted in previous classes. So take a look at those for some inspiration and some ideas. But you know, things like building graphics, outdoor, you know, oversized building graphics, event tickets, websites, apparel, print programs. That's an important one. I think print programs is important. Banners, kiosks, arena graphics, that's interior. Building graphics could be exterior. Arena graphics could be interior. Vehicle wrap, sporting event graphics. That would be like flags and the barriers on the side of ski slopes and the barriers on the side of hockey rinks and things like that. The bib uniforms, the bibs they wear for skiing, things like that. Posters, digital media, merchandising, that's just to name a few. One of our classmates submitted a very interesting presentation of some food packaging of all things that are branded with the Olympic graphics and would be used in concession areas. There's a sandwich box, like a hamburger box. Then there's a fries package and a drink package. And it's really, really clever. I'm sure you've seen it, but it's really clever. The imagination there is just out of control. So I love that. So anyways, that's what I'd like to see in your continuation of this particular presentation. Okay, so any questions, comments, concerns at all, please let me know. All right, thanks, Pauline.